Hello, guys and gals, me Mudahar, and the FBI just took down and named and doxed one of the biggest cyber criminals in the world. Today is like the Bin Laden takedown for the internet nerds, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, it's a wild day today. I want to just start off with a little video. I want to start off with something that is a bit surreal, almost Black Mirror-ish if you want to talk about it, okay? Now, this is a post by the National Crime Agency of the United Kingdom, okay? You can tell they are a government-verified branch with that little gray check mark in the top. So here they said, official announcement in 24 hours. Watch this space. Now, see, this isn't like a Apple keynote. This isn't like a Kendrick versus Drake beef track throwdown where they're like, check out our SoundCloud, boys. We're dropping some spicy pedo allegations today. Crazy stuff. No, this is the government willing to leak out and dox an individual, telling everyone to wait 24 hours like they're releasing the next Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer. So immediately when I saw this, I'm like, boy, I cannot imagine that we live in a world where the government is prepping and hyping me up for a little bit of a dox. Now, I'm glad to say that the United Kingdom did not back down from their announcement here, ladies and gentlemen. They did, in fact, leak out the actual Addy over here. So, for instance, this is the post that came out 24 hours later and why I waited, actually. Got all my stuff assembled to film this. A leader of what was once the most harmful cybercrime group has been unmasked and sanctioned by the UK, US, and Australia, following an NCA-led international disruption campaign. Hashtag Chronos, and then they added the FBI and fucking Europol, dude. So, of course, I'm not joking with you. Here's the video right now. They actually have a mosaic effect. And yeah, boy, that's our guy. That's him, Dmitry Yorevich Koroshev. Which is basically, apparently, they're fingering as the head administrator, the fucking producer of this actual scary piece of malware. Now, of course, he looks like your traditional LinkedIn developer for any crypto project. You got the AirPod to the side. You got him standing up looking all intimidating. This is Vitaly in the digital space universe, okay? Whereas influencer Vitaly is out there, like, apparently beating up pedophiles and flashbanging them in reality. We've got digital Vitaly running goddamn ransomware groups. Now, obviously, ladies and gentlemen, this is some pretty serious stuff, so I shouldn't really be laughing, okay? Now, according to the Federal Bureau, they charged him, a Russian national, with developing and operating Lockbit Ransomware. So again, the US Justice Department unsealed charges against a Russian for his alleged role as the creator, developer, and admin of the Lockbit ransomware group from its inception in September 2019 to the present. So for anybody that doesn't know Lockbit ransomware, we did virus investigations, and I covered this virus in the past, where it was basically ransomware, and ransomware, once you've seen it once, isn't really super terribly exciting. The concept is you download a piece of their sample, you run it on your computer, and eventually all the files on your system will be taken over and encrypted using a special key that is generated and sent off to Lockbit. Now, Lockbit, who possesses this key, basically tells you, pay us a certain amount of money and we'll send you a decryption software that will unencrypt all of the software and files on your system so you can use your computer again. Now, if you get hit with ransomware, it's probably not the end of the world for you, okay? You can reset things, maybe you'll have some backups. But for a big company, and the larger your companies become, the more tough it becomes to simply restore from backup, okay? Let's say you're running a bank, a hospital, one of the largest casinos in the world, okay? If you get hit with ransomware, it's a massive headache of figuring out how you got hit, where you got hit. Do you even have the backups or and whatnot to come back to a reasonable state? It's a lot of headaches, okay? Now, it gets almost dangerous, evil, and downright diabolical when you're attacking hospitals, for instance, right? Now, imagine attacking a hospital. You know, they get hit with ransomware, something critical gets, sort of stopped, and if they can't afford to pay a ransom or they can't afford to give the money away, especially when there are people on the verge of life and death, that becomes a serious issue that cannot be scoffed at, okay? So that's why the world governments get really mad about this. It's not just what they're doing to big companies, it's the fact that they attack government infrastructures, schools, and hospitals, especially hospitals belonging to sick children. So when the FBI here said earlier this year, the Justice Department and our UK law enforcement partners disrupted Lockbit, a ransomware group responsible for attacks on victims across the US and the world. Today, they're going a step further in charging the individual who they allege, again, this isn't confirmed, they allege developed and administered this malicious cyber scheme, who has targeted over 2,000 victims and stolen more than 100 million US dollars in ransomware payments. And they will continue to work closely to make sure this stuff is taken care of. So again, going in further over here, they name Dmitry Yuryevich Koroshev, also known as the screen name Lockbit Sup. And of course, Putin Crab of Voronezh, Russia. Again, my Russian isn't exactly the best, okay, so feel free to laugh at it. And of course, this is a 26-count indictment by the grand jury in the District of New Jersey. So yeah, this is some serious shit, and what they allege is they launched one of the most prolific ransomware variants, causing billions of dollars in losses and wreaking havoc on critical infrastructures, including schools and hospitals. So yeah, like I said, really dangerous shit. When you start messing around with groups like this, when you start messing around with critical stuff like this, the government is going to come on you as hard as they've ever come on for any actual criminal out there, okay? You are about just as evil to them as some ISIS terrorist or some Mexican drug cartel operative or really any high-level criminal. So when you look into like the reporting form over here too, even Lockbit has a special form. So now that they've gotten access, they can assist people that have been hit with various versions. So if you are hit with this shit, fill out this form. You probably already know if you have been hit in a serious capacity and you've done it. But that's generally the idea here. So again, to give you an idea of what websites and what groups look like when they've been infected and taken down, when their websites or their blogs get hijacked, it looks a lot like this. The site is now under control of law enforcement. The site is now under control of the National Crime Agency of the UK. So this is what it looked like when people tried accessing Lockbit's blogs. They grabbed access to the servers, keys, whatever, and basically threw this shit up there to basically look and make it appear and make it well known that they took down a blog and a serious group. Now, because this is crypto stuff, because this is deep web stuff, because this is, groups fighting for each other, websites and groups and various shit will pop up over time. But let's look at the actual blog that has been hijacked by the federal government. So again, this is a deep web link page, all right? And again, this is the onion link over here that I may or may not blur depending on how YouTube's TOS goes in regards to, I guess, popularizing this kind of content. But to give you an idea of how to find this kind of shit, all right, one of the ways that we end up finding it is through various group websites. So for instance, all these links you see on the left are groups that are, again, ransomware groups, cyber warfare groups you can imagine, right? There's a whole bunch of them right here. And again, they all have different blogs and they all have onion links leading to said blogs. So what we effectively do over here is we highlight a link, or at least the most available one, and we just get access to it. So these are onion links and they fluctuate all the time, as you know if you've ever watched me cover the deep web on my channel. So this is Lockbit's seized address. And of course, if you're looking at all of these pages, you can see that this is the government basically putting down countdown timers to all of their leaks. So for instance, they will close the website in a matter of days. So this is, if you wanted to look at this website with your own eyeballs, this is like the last chance, okay? After this, the government will take this down. Not to say that a Lockbit group that still exists, a cell, won't have another website open, but this is your last chance to catch up on some cyber warfare history. So in this situation, they've given their press releases, which we've looked at the FBI one, we looked a bit at the UK one, but they gave the $10 million question, right? The bounty out here, right? And if you look into the bounty, you can see that the $10 million question, which it's interesting how they're releasing this at 1337, whatever BST is. I feel like the feds now are run by actual meme lords, like they're run by actual memers, 4chaners that have grown up to work with the actual Federal Bureau. It's insane. So here it is, Lockbit Sup. So the US government literally unsealed this name. Now, there is a chance, in my opinion, that this name could be wrong, right? But I think the chance for that is highly unlikely because I don't think the US government is willing to leak out wrong information for the for the sake of being I think they would put themselves in a serious legal problem. And they would really be ruining their reputation if they turned out to be doxing the wrong individual. But anyways, the Department of State, through their award program, offered up to $10 million for information about this fucking dude right here. So that is a $10 million award, leading to Dmitry Koroshev for violations including the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, okay? Now, if you've been hit with this guy's ransomware, they direct you to a website known as No More Ransom, where you can actually download decryptors right now to help you out with whatever you've gotten. So if you've been ever hit with any of these ransomwares, you can basically download these decryptors and take care of yourself right over here. It actually would be fun to show you how ransomware gets ransomed and then ransomware gets decrypted. It would be fun to discuss this with you. So let me know what you want. We can look at the MafiaWare 666 decryptor if you want, you know, as a meme. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, to go further into it, obviously the guy was added to the SDN list, which is the specially designated nationals. Once you've been added to this list, your freedom of travel anywhere in the world is so limited to the point where I think you can only visit like 4 or 5 countries. I think it's like China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, and that's pretty much what it comes down to. You know, countries that don't necessarily respect the SDN list because they're large enough countries on their own. So Koroshev gets added to this list, and they find out that his iCloud email, koroshev1@icloud.com, that could be a burner, but I don't know. Sometimes dudes will just have MacBooks or anything sitting around like full addresses, not thinking that they can actually get screwed at some point. And of course, what they've actually got is his Bitcoin wallet address. So I opened the Bitcoin wallet address up too, and it's funny because you look through this address, and the only volume it's ever gotten, well, total received and sent was around $47,733. So obviously not the total amount of cash that this person has ever had. Just because if you look through their original statements back in like February, the guy literally says that they work for like hundreds of millions of dollars. So clearly they've got a lot of money that they've made through this. Where that money is, I'm sure the Federal Bureau and every organization is going to try to find and track down, especially if it's in crypto, which makes it a little bit easier for them too, depending on how it's laundered or whatnot or moved around. But again, beyond all of it, one of the things that I wanted to also showcase was VX Underground, great friend of the channel, ended up actually talking or getting, you know, information from this group Lockbit. And apparently they said that the FBI, they're bluffing, all right? This isn't the real individual. In fact, if somebody else, you know, that they've doxed, they will get fucked for their sins, implying that basically the wrong person is arrested. The FBI found the wrong person. Now, whether Lockbit is right and the FBI is just fingering some random guy for no reason, that I think is a pretty massive claim. So for this moment in time, I think that pretty much most of the policing agencies have basically done what they can to find these individuals. And for the most part, it seems like this Lockbit group may potentially die off, but that just means that a power vacuum gets made and another group takes the reins. Look, at the end of the day, money is money, all right? If there's hundreds of millions of dollars to be made through criminal activities, what I have learned through history alone is that another group will just come out of the ashes and basically run the gamut themselves. And that's pretty much where I think this situation is unfortunately headed down to. So yeah, this guy came out of the woodworks. The FBI, you know, basically kept hunting them down. They put out a bounty. And it's funny to see that the government has straight up doxed an individual. Like, they actually hyped up a dox. I cannot believe that I actually had to see things play out that way. But yeah, that's pretty much what it comes down to, ladies and gentlemen. This is me, Mutahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am out.